It's the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast with Alex Trataros, John Meleka, and Raisi on the beat. Let's go.
Yo, what's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me, as always, my buddy, my close pal, the man of the plan, the one and only John Meleka. And with us, as always, back from his weekend extravaganza at his cousin's wedding, our video producer, Greg. He is with us as well today. Gentlemen, we're going to preview the Jets versus the Bengals. Before we get into all of that, if you're watching this video right now, if you listen to us on any audio listening platform, make sure to subscribe, guys. All right? Hit the like button, leave a comment, give us that 5-star rating. You know the drill. Greg, man, you were out last time. John and I recapped. John dressed for the recap for the rapid reaction. He was dressed to impress, man. Yep. He wore the brown tie to show how bad the Browns were. He had his Jets.
Them.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that wedding I was at.
He had to attend. Since he did attend a wedding, he probably was at a church, and he was probably said a prayer for them and the fan base for just how down bad they were because they got pulverized in the last 95 seconds by the New York Jets. So you know what it is. But Greg, what did you think about that game before we get into it, man? Let's hear your takes.
You know, I've had a couple days to cool off because I was hot. I was excited. I was ready to go. I was ready to run through a wall. Now that I've had some time to cool off and digest and watch
Kool-Aid Man run through the wall. Oh yeah.
And watch Garrett Wilson's touchdowns like conservatively 100 times on Twitter and Instagram or whatever it was. That release in the end zone on his first touchdown was incredible. The second touchdown over the middle too. The way, dude, he's good. The way he got behind that defender, found separation before the next defender. Just had a great window for Joe Flacco, who saw it all the way, hit him over the middle. It was incredible. So excited. I mean, my take on the whole thing was we were in a position to win a crazy game, and we did it. We didn't give up. It's something I've been saying about the Mets all season. They fight, and I love seeing that with the Jets, man. Some people said we were out of it. It didn't seem like the Jets thought we were out of it. Garrett Wilson celebrated on the sideline. We got that onside kick. Didn't seem like that he thought we were out of it. So just the fight to the end, and again being in position, we went toe to toe with Cleveland Browns in the first half. We kept it close in the second half. They got a little bit away from us, but not enough for Joe Flacco and these Jets. I mean, what a 180 on the offense from last week to this week. They seemed like Michael Floor in this offense kind of figured out a few things, who to get the ball to in space. And it was a great win for us. And hopefully we can parlay it into this week when we take on Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, your boy Garrett Wilson finally getting into the mix, man.
Dude, he looked good week one. And like I said it in that recap, we have to get Garrett Wilson the ball more. We got him the ball more. Corey Davis came through clutch and didn't drop a ball and scored a nice touchdown. That was nice to see.
Garrett Wilson dropped a bad third down. I feel like everyone has to have one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just insert Tyler Conklin. He can do that for your any given day.
Well, Tyler Conklin's getting me the fumble, but Max Mitchell, my boy, picks it up every time. So it's fine, dude.
Like a mother picking up Legos, man. Like a mother picking up Legos.
Yeah.
Whole time, same exact thing happened.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, there's going to be bad plays. I thought the offensive line was much improved. Lincoln Tomlinson, I think, had a very bad week one. I think he bounced back nicely. I think we did a pretty good job when we decided to block Myles Garrett, because there was that one play where we didn't block him. There's another play when Jadeveon Clowney got a strip on us, but we at least blocked him. I mean, I think the offensive line's playing well. I'm very impressed with Max Mitchell. Speaking of Max Mitchell, I think he's doing well for fourth-round pick. You know, anchoring the right side for us.
AVT playing with the best guard in the league.
AVT, the PFF numbers are through the roof for him. Same with Joe Flacco, which I don't know how much more we can really expect from him. I mean, I think he's
He
playing out
gave
of his
it everything.
mind.
He gave it everything he had that game, man. Like,
I
he
mean,
was
they're a little-
legitimately.
They're a little inflated, I think, from the last 95 seconds. But let me ask you before we move on from this game. I mean, Jets fans are hyped to talk about it. We're hyped to talk about it. It was a great game. I could talk about that game until the day I die, literally.
Yeah.
But let me just ask you a logistical question here. As we're sitting here on Thursday night, Steelers are up 14-13. We're versing the Steelers in 2 weeks. They'll look ahead. We just played the Browns. It's the whole damn division here. So, I'm so familiar with them. So, we're watching. Let me ask you a quick question about Nick Chubb scoring. You mentioned that you said nobody thought that the Jets were out on the sideline, specifically Miles Austin, the wide receiver coach, where as soon as Nick Chubb scored, said out loud, like, now we have a chance.
Yeah.
Flacco said the same thing. So my question to you is, Nick Chubb, did he do the wrong thing by scoring the touchdown? I understand in retrospect, Monday morning quarterback, obviously it would have been great if he just fell down and, the game would have been over, especially because they lost.
Yeah.
But also rewatching that, DJ Reed, I mean, nobody told DJ Reed that he
was trying to tackle him.
Dude,
He was trying to tackle him.
DJ Reed, not only did he try, he was so down on himself. You could see on the camera, because on the All 22 you could watch him the whole time.
Yeah.
Bro, he was beating himself up. People were like consoling him for missing that tackle. The game was over. It was 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, everyone's a genius when the clock strikes 0. When you're in live fire and you're in the game, the point of the game is to score more points to the other team. I mean, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a really sophisticated guy. Kind of simple. What are we doing here? I get technically Chubb, if he goes down, we lose the game, blah, blah, blah. The point of the game is to score more points. So if you have opportunity to score more points, you score more points.
Don't give it to him.
Yeah.
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 Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know.
Dude,
if you get the ball to the running back, he's gonna keep running until someone brings him down.
To me, there's so many things. First of all, if they kick the extra point, we're not talking about it. If Amari Cooper, who's their number one wide receiver, we could have gone for 2. That's true. But if Amari Cooper is their best wide receiver, doesn't get out hustled by Willie Parks on an onside kick by Man, who we were calling for his job last week. If that doesn't happen, then we're not talking about it. If someone decided to cover Garrett Wilson, we're not talking about it. There's so many things that went right. If Ashton Davis doesn't get the interception on his only play of the game, and they get a completion there and they kick a field goal, we're not talking about it. Like, there's so many things that had to go right for everyone in hindsight to be like, oh, Nick Chubb should have went down. Like, 6 crazy things happened. It was the best comeback I've ever seen in my lifetime as a Jets fan. I don't think you can blame anyone for that besides the Cleveland defense. I mean, if you don't just let Corey Davis walk in for a 64-yard touchdown, we're not talking about it. Like, there's so many things that happened.
That play was beautiful, especially on Next Gen Stats when they like showed with the line squiggle and how he just like broke the defense.
Oh yeah.
That was literally beautiful, because they were just sleeping and the Jets honestly played to the last whistle. Which, I mean, what more can you ask for? But there was definitely a lot of luck involved.
Of course.
Joe Flacco has thrown an insane amount of pass attempts, dude. An insane amount of pass attempts, which leads him to not only 3rd on PFF, but 3rd in passing yard just in the league, right?
Yeah. So I got all the stats right here. So Joe Flacco right now is 3rd in the league right now. Joe Flacco is currently 3rd in passing yards
in the year 22 of our Lord.
the year 2022 in the year of our Lord and Savior. He's 3rd in passing yards, 1st in passing attempts with 103. The next closest guy is Joe Burrow, and that's 14 passing attempt difference. 14. You also got 3rd in first downs and 3rd in the longest pass, right? Currently in the NFL. That is Joe Flacco for you in the year 2022 through 2 games so far. Joe Flacco has been, I guess you could say, holding it down since we're 1-1. The week before he was okay, didn't really get help from the offensive line. This week he did get help from the offensive line. got help from his receivers, as John pointed out in the last episode. You're not getting our wide receivers, our running backs, just dropping the ball at crucial moments. Even though you still have Tyler Conklin dropping and fumbling, but
we're dropping in crucial moments. But I mean, at least
it's reduced.
At the end of last week, we came through clutch. That's all I'll say. I mean, we still had a third down drop. We still had another fumble. We still had Tyler Johnson, dropping that pass, which ended up was good for us, right? Like Tyler Conklin dropping a pass and Tyler Johnson dropping a pass when I when I went back and rewatched it, that helped us. Dude, stop the clock. It would have been like 4 or 5 yard plays. Wouldn't have helped us. So again, hindsight, fantastic for us. But my favorite thing about the win last week, or besides the craziness of it, and why it is my favorite comeback, is I'm sure people are screaming already, oh, the Monday Night Miracle, and naming other Jets comebacks, which aren't really that many.
Yeah, there's a
everybody was involved. Everybody. Yeah. Flacco, the quarterback, Flacco, the wide receivers in Corey Davis and Wilson and Breece Hall. We didn't even mention him. Breece Hall is back, dude. He's on the map. Carter had a good game too. Obviously, special teams got in there, and I don't know. I mean, the defense, the secondary is so bad. So maybe they didn't help much, but I guess by not tackling him, I get it has to be another side, right? Like we can't just keep blaming one. If you keep blaming one side, there has to be an opposite reaction. And so I'm here to say I'm hyped about Joe Flacco and what he's able to do. We were all ready to cut him for Mike White after a half, and he's turning out to be pretty good. So maybe we should have some patience. Everyone should chill out a little bit.
We're Jets fans, man. Come on.
Because here's the thing. The reason I'm saying that is already the arguments are coming up. What if, Zach Wilson, who, is starting to practice more and more, next week is the target week versus Steelers. They don't have TJ Watt anymore, so it's not scary. The big bad best player or top 3 defensive player in the league. We're not going to blame the Jets for putting Zach Wilson up against that. Like the talk is already coming, man. Should we bring Wilson in? Should we leave Flacco in? We're just so short-sighted sometimes, right? We were gonna cut Flacco like last week. Now we want to, leave Wilson on the bench. Next week it's gonna be we have to start Mike White. It's just like I just want to just chill out. I like where we're going. I like the continuity, and to be honest with you, I like our chances versus the 0-2 Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get why you're saying Jets fans need to pump the brakes. I agree, but let's also understand where we are right now. We're in another rebuild. All right, we had the Sam Darnold rebuild, didn't really go anywhere. The best we got was 7-9. Now we're on to another rebuild with Zach Wilson, with Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh. We gave last year's a pass, but we still need to see some wins, right? And I get it now. We got the win. We in September, by the way. We got the win in September. So now we can ease off a little bit. We can ease off slightly. We can ease off the brakes. Yeah, no, we want more, man. We want more wins. And I get the frustration. I get wanting to see change especially when it comes to the quarterback. It's the easiest position to ask for change. We've seen it so many times, whether it was with Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith. We had Greg McElroy. People were calling for Greg McElroy. Remember those days? Remember those days when people were like, yo, Greg McElroy. He went to Alabama.
Those were dark days. Joe Namath
went to Alabama. He has the highest score on the Wonderlic. He could take us all the way. Come on. So we've been there, man. We know what it is. But I agree. Got to chill out. Let Flacco do his thing. The question is now, do we let Flacco, say if Flacco wins this week, Jets are 2-1.
Yeah.
Do we go into next week?
This is a ridiculous question, bro. This is insane.
I agree, but this is what people are asking. This is what people are asking.
I don't know if it's a ridiculous question.
Crazy.
I don't know if it's a ridiculous question, John, because I agree with you it's a ridiculous question, but I don't know which way you're about to answer. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's ridiculous to ask because I think you have to go with Zach Wilson.
Yes.
But but because I wasn't sure how you guys felt, I don't think it's that crazy of a question.
I do, because if Zach Wilson is healthy and you're starting Joe Flacco, it's not a best man type deal. Like Zach Wilson, forget the future. He's better than Joe Flacco right now.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Is
right
he though?
now. Yes.
Okay.
Zach Wilson is better than Joe Flacco right now. Don't tell me, oh, the fighting for the future and all this nonsense. I'm telling you, today, in the year 2022, where Joe Flacco, you just read all those stats, Alex. Zach Wilson's better. So maybe just the New York Jets are good. I know that's a crazy thought. I think the team is just good. Like when the offensive line breaks down, Joe Flacco stinks. When the offensive line does good, players catch. We got a crazy onside kick. Braden Mann gets a 4th down, 17-yard throw to Jeff Smith. Things start to look good. You know what I mean? If we lost that game like we should have, guys, like the game should have been, I mean, at most we should have covered, right? Like at best, with all of the luck, we should have covered, right? 6.5. We at least don't get the onside kick at the end there, right? Everything goes right until we're gonna be sitting here like, yo, dude, this game's just inflated by the 66-yard throw. Corey Davis is the king of garbage time stats. Joe Flacco stinks. We need Zach Wilson back because we're about to be 1-3 going into the Steelers game because the Bengals are gonna kill us next week. That's exactly what we'd be thinking. But we're just hyped about the literally 95 seconds and no timeouts, and so we had this positive outlook. I think sometimes we have to look beyond the wins and loss. And it's finally nice to be on the win side and say that because we were on the loss side and we're like, oh, it's not all about the wins and loss. but like we won, and it's really not about the wins and loss. I think we're an actually good team. We're getting better. Where we're not good is, again, our safeties. I'm gonna say this till the day I die. I feel like our safeties stink and we cannot guard a running back or a tight end. It's actually becoming disgusting. Every single red zone play, Greg, they're just literally pulling them out and getting the either Joyner, they're getting Jacob Martin, they're getting Quincy Williams, and they're getting positive plays. It's really frustrating. But other than that, I do think we're a good team. I think they're improving a little bit. They improved a little bit in week 1. Besides Amari Cooper, your boy AG gave up a TD technically, and he also took one away.
Play, though.
Peoples Jones, yeah, it was. I'm glad they're all in agreement about Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's. I think it was just, John, you gave an excellent point on just Zach Wilson being better and why you got to move with them and like the whole analysis on like what you see on the on-field product. But the reality is too that Zach Wilson is the future, and it just needs to be said that we're trying to evaluate what we have here in the 2nd overall pick from last year's draft. Like if he's healthy, you have to see what he can offer this team.
Alex, I don't care about that. I want to win games. I want to be like Greg said. I want to have more points than the other team at the end of the game. I don't care about the future right now. It's too early.
No. We're seeing Mitch
Trubisky next week. After Mitch Trubisky, we have a chance to be like above 500 and looking in October. I mean, I need to win games. I'm not here to evaluate. I know you're in Knicks mode. I know you got the Knicks hat on, play the kids. But like, I just want to win games. If Joe Flacco is truly better than Zach Wilson right now, I mean, God help us, but play Joe Flacco. You know what I mean? If he was Malik Willis, if we had Malik Willis on this team, not Zach Wilson, I would be wearing a number 19 jersey right now on this podcast. I'm not even joking. I would literally be wearing I would be crying if anyone said we have to play Malik Willis because look for the future. You know what I mean? I want to play Zach Wilson because he's better right now.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I can't subscribe to that.
Yeah, I guess that's where we disagree
because if someone's asking for Malik Willis, I'd be like, yo, he's a 3rd round pick, not a 1st round, 2nd overall pick. If you're picking someone the 2nd overall pick, that means he's good. That means he's a franchise altering player. He should be starting. Okay, this isn't like, oh well, Malik Willis is 3rd round pick. It's not like, okay, we have it's not like Russell Wilson when he was on the Seattle Seahawks, right? And fighting for a spot and won the spot. This if that's what Malik Willis is on this team and he did that, cool. Or if you're saying, hey, he needs time to develop because he's just not ready, cool. But it's Zach Wilson. You wasted a 2nd overall pick. So I can't subscribe to that. The value of the draft pick, as we always came on the show, as we always talk about on the show, matters. If Zach Wilson was drafted in the 3rd round, I'd be like, I don't care then. We can wait. We have time. His contract doesn't really matter. But a 2nd overall pick, you know how much that contract's worth. You know you got to make a determination at some point. So, yes, if he's healthy, he's playing. We're talking about a rebuild here. We're not a competing team for the playoffs.
No, stop. No, stop. Full stop. Period. I disagree with that, especially with that last.
Okay.
We are in the hunt, bro. If we win a couple of these games, we're in the hunt. A lot of these AFC teams, you could see what happens from week to week. Justin Herbert, he's back practicing this week. Who knows if he has ribs? Joe Burrow, he's about to be 0-3. Like, who knows? The Steelers don't have a quarterback. I mean,
the
Jaguars lead their division.
Fine.
Exactly.
I'll agree with you that. I'll even give you that. Fine. We can compete for the playoffs. You still need to evaluate what he can do.
I have a question.
He's a 2nd overall
Let me ask
pick.
you a question so we can move on to the Cincinnati game. Let me ask you a question. Is Zach Wilson better than Joe Flacco today?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. That's the answer. Greg, do you disagree?
I don't know. know. That's why you have to play Zach Wilson. I think there's a legit shot you trot Zach Wilson out there against the Steelers and he throws 3 picks and no touchdowns.
I mean, that is very likely.
Yeah.
I mean that's very likely, but I think from a
3 picks and no touchdowns.
Joe Flacco has 1 interception on the season, and it's because his tight end Cager fell down. He's protecting the ball. He's getting it done, man.
I think. What was it? Like, I think from like an overall talent standpoint, like arm strength, mobility, all of that, Zach Wilson clears, and that's why I want him starting because he has all those things. But it also comes back down to the evaluation. How do you not want to see what Zach Wilson can do?
No,
like, I get. Okay,
that's secondary though. That's secondary though. That's all I'm saying. I just whoever I think is better, I want him to play. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
My whole thing though, John, is if you put Zach Wilson in and he does stink, you can't then bench him because Joe Flacco's better. Once you go with Zach Wilson, you have to play Zach Wilson. You can't. Well, you're gonna
give him a couple of weeks. Like if he throws 3 picks in the first half, we might. You might put Flacco in the second half. No,
just say like he's actually hurt.
Yeah, be like, he's not ready yet.
We thought he was ready, but he's not.
Yeah. But if he just like comes out like has a decent game, but he plays bad, he'd be like, all right, dude, it's his first game.
Get the Brandon Mann treatment.
4 weeks. Brandon Mann treatment. What does that mean?
Like he had a bad game.
He has a bad game.
Yeah. Comes back after 1 week. You know what I'm saying? He'll be fine. If he's bad for a couple of games in a row here. If he's bad for like the next 4 games, we might switch back to Flacco.
I think that's tough on his.
And what do you?
I just don't think that's the case. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
we're speaking in crazy hypotheticals, but what's not hypothetical?
Corey Davis being on the trading block.
That's another hypothetical. You want to keep talking about hypotheticals? Let's talk about more hypotheticals. Corey Davis, who ended up on the injury report this week, which wow, shocked about that. Apparently, Rich Cimino has been covering the New York Jets since before they were the New York Jets. And likes to stir the pot, honestly.
Before the inception, even the New York Titans.
Dude.
I heard that man was watching football when there were weather hats.
Him and Mark Berman from the Post on the Knicks side. I feel like they have the same role, and he gets into it, man. He has Corey Davis on the trading block right now. He says the NFC team is interested in him. Sounds good. I mean, I don't see the Jets trading Corey Davis right now. However, your boy Elijah Moore, Greg's boy Garrett Wilson, my boy Braxton Berrios, I guess. But obviously that's more in jest. Let's just take his word for it. Do you guys think this? And let's not forget about Denzel Mims, right? The backup number 1, of course. Yep. Do you guys think that this team would be? Let's just do like -1, 0, +1, that scale. If they, or if you want to, keep going in numbers, I guess. But let's just leave it at that. Of what happens if we trade Corey Davis for, let's say, a 4th-round pick.
Why are we even doing that?
Okay, so are you saying minus, or are you saying 0? Like we gain nothing?
I'd put it at 0. Like I would still want Corey Davis because John, you just talked about competing. You have 3 legitimate wide receivers, so why give up a legitimate wide receiver and ruin your chances of competing? Why are we even doing this?
Makes no sense. Greg.
Yeah, I think that depth is key, and if we were to trade Corey
He's our
Davis,
number 1 wide receiver. What depth? We're not trading depth. We're trading our starter.
well, if you trade him and then Garrett Wilson gets hurt, it's like, all right, now we're trotting out Mims and Smith all of a sudden. It's like,
exactly.
like what are we doing for a 4th round pick?
Dude.
I think that if it's a higher pick, if it's a 3rd round pick, maybe to a competing team out in the West, like once this starts shaking out, and all of a sudden the Rams, who love to trade their picks, all of a sudden are like, hey, we got a legit shot at competing again, or San Francisco, or one of these NFC teams that's going to be good, the Tampa Bay Bucks, who don't have any wide receivers, even though John made me draft Julio Jones in our fantasy combined team.
Starting this week, baby.
Yeah. So, some of these teams that have a shot at a Super Bowl could use someone, and therefore the capital might go up. I think it makes sense from our perspective because I think we're set with Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson for a while. Saves us $13-14 million in cap next year. I think he's like a $600,000 or $700,000 dead cap hit, which is very low.
No, not for next year. He's going to be on the team. I think we're going to come after next year, right? Or is it this year?
If we were to trade him this year.
Oh, yes, if we were to trade him.
Yeah, if we were to trade him. And if we get, like I said, a 2nd or 3rd overall or a 2nd or 3rd round pick, I think that's not that crazy for an aging wide receiver who's never lived up to his draft capital where he was taken. But again, that's so far down the road. Trade deadline's in November. Right now, I'm not worried about it. I think when you report stuff like this, like Rich Cimini with his position, I think you're just hurting the team. Us talking about it on our podcast, I don't think this is going to make it to Corey Davis's desk. I hope it does. But I'm not too worried about us talking about it. When you're Rich Cimini or one of these reporters and you're just spouting out stuff, I think that's just, you're not helping the team, dude. I don't know what you're doing.
It's nonsense. He's our number 1 wide receiver. He's obviously a veteran in the locker room. We need Corey Davis. Literally, Denzel Mims is going to be our outside wide receiver.
Literally had the touchdown that helped us put us back in this game. What are we even talking about, man? Like, what are we talking about, dude?
It's crazy.
I get the frustration with Corey Davis too, because he's either injured, he gives you some like let down drops. I get that, but still, dude has talent. We can look at last year towards the Titans game. All right. Pretty sure he was in it, helped us in it for the Bengals. Like, dude can ball. Like, when he's on, and he helped us against the Browns. But he's still a talent. The more talent you have, the better.
Listen, dude, Rich Cimini does not know how to act, because he's been following the Jets for so long, and there's been one game, and he saw Garrett Wilson, and he knows what we have in Elijah Moore, and he's like, oh, the Jets can trade now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, someone called, like. So the Jets now have really good weapons. They can let go of somebody like Corey Davis. Like, we just don't know how to act right now. Just take it easy. Of course, other teams want one of our players. They're good. Let's just move on. Listen. If we suck, if we're not even in the hunt by the trade deadline, trade Corey Davis. That'd be fantastic. I would love that. Play the kids. Let's see what we got. We'll run it. But for now, if someone calls me about Corey Davis, unless you're sending me back unless like it's for Jesse Bates, right? Like, unless like now we're talking like, all right, trade Corey Davis. We have some depth there, no problem. Give me a free safety because we stink at free safety, and Jesse Bates needs to be signed next year. I'll do that.
Yeah,
but I'm not doing it for nothing. Let's get into this Bengals game, man.
Let's do it,
Bengals. It is crispy weather. You know what I mean? It is the most football weather of all time right now. Sunday's going to be beautiful. I'm pretty sure I have to go. I must be at MetLife. Everybody was talking about how we wanted the Bengals to win last week, including me, which I thought was really weird / funny / interesting, I guess. This week, for the first time in my life, I heard reporters asking players and coaches about that fact. Are you upset about the Bengals winning because now they're 0-2 coming hungry. I thought that was just like a gambling thing. I thought that was like a Joe Schmo, like side talk conversation. But like apparently that's a real thing. Everybody gave a good answer from the Jets. So I'm thankful for that. Everyone's like, oh, it doesn't matter. We're just looking at our side. Of course, they're good. We're looking at them like the AFC, championship team, yada, yada, yada. The line is Jets +6 at home. Okay, so Vegas also thinks that. The Bengals 0-2 is an issue, and they're desperate for a win. Of course, we've said it 100 times. It's the revenge game for the Bengals as an organization because we killed them last year with Mike White. But it's also a revenge game for individual players. We got Carl Lawson. There's somebody else slipping my mind. But we got Carl Lawson with the revenge game. What do you guys think?
This is gonna be tough, man. I'm not.
Oh, CJ Uzomah. CJ
That's right.
Uzomah. Also,
Yep,
I forgot.
that's right.
He's also he's also he practiced, so he's back and practicing. So I think he's motivated to play. I think he probably had a look ahead last week too. He knows what the Browns are about. He got injured late with his hamstring. He's probably, I need to play for the Bengals. I need to play against the Bengals.
I'm concerned about this game because I do think there is a legitimate aspect where the Bengals do need to win. They do have good talent. I mean, you talk about T. Higgins, you talk about Joe Burrow, you got Joe Mixon, you got Jamar Chase. They got talent, man. They got talent on that team. I know they're hurting. Remind me, the offensive line is hurt, right? On this team, pretty sure the offensive line, or is it the defensive line that's
for the Bengals?
Yeah, for the
they
Bengals.
have Lyle Collins is out or with their
Yeah.
DNP in practice. I
Yeah.
was looking that up right now as we were talking.
So
yeah, so
I think I would say I think this is gonna be much closer than what the line thinks. I know I said the Jets were gonna beat the Browns last week. I actually do think the Jets have a solid chance of beating the Bengals this week. I do think the Jets could go on a two-game winning streak right now against the Bengals. It'll be an uphill battle though. This will be a close one. It's not gonna be a blowout.
So not only has their offensive line been so bad, the fact that Lyle Collins is out, guys, as the right tackle is insanely huge. I can't tell you how huge that is. It's literally the Jets' strength versus the Bengals' weakness, and they're only getting weaker. And if you don't think MetLife is going to be rocking after that win versus the Browns, we're coming back home here, and there's confidence with this team that we could beat the Bengals. I don't care what anybody says because of last year. We beat the AFC Championship team. It's almost like a Jaguars Colts situation. Like we beat them last year. I know it's not as consistent. We're gonna beat them on Sunday. I think Carl Lawson's finally gonna have a big game. I think Breece Hall is gonna have a great game. And honestly, I'll say we win by a touchdown. Like I am going to alternate line take this game. Jets -6.5. Am I crazy, Greg? But I'll tell you,
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about betting a little bit, but 45.5, I love the over. Both defenses, they are, especially the secondaries, bad.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at, we were prepping a little bit. Jets, Alex, you talked about it, like 103 attempts right now in the season. Bengals second in the league in 89 attempts.
Exactly.
Going down the
Joe
line,
Burrow.
you're looking at, same amount of yards per attempt, and, similar everything. Flacco's got 5, Joe's only got 3. What stands out to me is the interceptions. Joe Flacco has 1 again because someone fell down on him. Joe Burrow has 4. I think he had 5 turnovers in one game. It's the offensive line, but it's also Joe Burrow. He had an appendix procedure before the season. He was not able to participate in the preseason kind of stuff. And John, we talked about that on the gambling stuff as a reminder for next year. I need everyone out there to tweet me next year when week 1 happens.
Winning P Weekly.
Winning P Weekly on Twitter. Bet against teams that don't play starters in the preseason, because in week 1 they were slow, they were out of rhythm, they did not cover against the spread. So I think Joe Burrow's kind of going through that, and
they sucked also. I know it's close. I know special teams got in the way there. So they have a chance to win.
They didn't have Bengals didn't have their long snapper. So you just saw when they played the Steelers, their snaps were just so high that the placeholder just couldn't spin the ball around to put the laces out. So they should have won that game. They legitimately should have won that game. The Dallas game, though, they got whooped. They got beat.
I don't know, though, man. They lost both games by a field goal.
They could have won either one.
Yeah, I think they were kind of in both of them. I think it was surprising that they were not just winning.
They had no chance at the spread
against Dallas. Yeah, they got killed on the spread for sure. Yeah. They had no chance of covering that. But, dude, a couple field goals go a different way, and all of a sudden it's the 2-0 Bengals, restart in the Super Bowl run
against
again.
the 0-2 Jets.
Yeah, against the 0-2 Jets. Yeah, that's why this whole NFL thing, I think, Alex, when we did a recap week 1, you started asking me about a couple other teams, and I was like, I don't know. It's still early in the season. And you were like, yeah, just remember that for the Jets, too. Like, everyone out there freaking out about the Jets. When you look at other teams objectively, you realize that, one, everyone gets up for every game. It's not because they're 0-2 that they're getting up to play the Jets. It's because they're playing the Jets and they're getting paid millions of dollars to play football. 2, all these teams are very competitive. Like, they could easily be 2-0. We could easily be 0-2. I'm not too worried about the Bengals. I think that we have a shot at winning this game, but it's just because we said going into the season our defense needs to be the unit that leads us. And if that's true, they have to do it against the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. It's that simple. Joe Burrow has 13 sacks in 2 weeks. Like, he is getting destroyed in the pocket. Some of it's on him for not getting rid of the ball. Some of it's on the offense for not designing the offense for him to get rid of it. Some of it's on the offensive line for being injured or just not playing well. They're a new unit. They're trying to come together. We talked about this defensive line all offseason being elite. It needs to be elite, and they need to do it on Sunday if we have a shot at winning this game.
For sure. And I'm sorry, I was referencing the Vikings-Eagles game. That's the game where I was referencing. But even when I look back at this game, right, you see the Bengals came back to tie it with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and they still gave the ball back to the Cowboys. Like, yes, like, I get that the Bengals are going to be in this. I think we're going to win by a field goal. I think the Jets will win this game by a field goal. I don't think it'll be a touchdown. I think it's going to be competitive.
Look at this optimism right now. Do we all think we're going to win this game? Greg, did you have the Jets beating Cleveland?
I can't remember.
I
don't think so, because I didn't do the preview episode with you guys. You guys did the preview episode. But no, on the gambling, I had the Bengals, because I was like, I need to see, or I had the Browns, because I need to see the Jets turn around. The Jets look so bad week 1. It's like they forgot everything that they were planning. It's crazy how bad they looked, especially in that first half. And I'm buying into the Jets have figured it out. They're professionals too. Joe Flacco's a professional. Michael LaFleur's a professional. They figured out this offense come week 2. They got Breece Hall going. They definitely got Garrett Wilson going. You know, I have confidence in this offense. I've always had confidence in the defense and the special teams turnaround. Zerline remember how to kick a field goal, an extra point.
57-yarder was insane.
Yeah, man knows how to punt all of a sudden. Like we turned
and
it
throw
around.
the football.
He can throw 17-yarders.
Yeah. So, my thing with the Bengals is I didn't see that big improvement week 2, where the Jets had big improvement.
And that's what I'm trying to say. And that's what I'm trying to say, Greg, is that you see how they came. It's this coming back late stuff that's like they're trying to figure it out, right? They didn't really figure it out for 2.5 quarters.
Yeah,
and I still think they're trying to figure out. And with the issues at the offensive line, Joe Burrow getting sacked, our defense, if our defense wakes up and plays like they did week 1, and this is why I'm confident in the team. We kept up with the Baltimore Ravens week 1. Defense held us in. If the defense shows up and our offense can play how they did last week, this team is fine to go in there and upset the Bengals and put them 0-3. I don't think it's a touchdown. I think it's a field goal because I think that the Bengals will do what they just did to the Cowboys. Considering we got Joe Flacco in there, you look at the Cowboys. They didn't have Dak Prescott. I think it will be that close because I think the Bengals are close to figuring it out without being a healthy team. But I like the Jets' chances in this. This is going to be an uphill climb. I think we're going to see a good amount of lead changes in this game. But I think it's going to be Michael Carter that gets the touchdown this game. I think it's Michael Carter. It's going to be the first Jets running. Well, Breece Hall, not the first Jets running back because Breece Hall got the touchdown last week. But I think it's Michael Carter's turn to get involved and get going. He's leading the team in rushing right now. And if you look at between him and Joe Mixon,
Watch out, Alex.
I'm sorry, I'm losing my tongue. Getting a little spicy over here. If you look at the rushing attempts, 17 attempts for 83 yards for Michael Carter. That's freaking efficient, man.
He's been doing great. He can catch out of the backfield too, but if I have to be honest about it, he's getting killed in the
pass protection.
Yeah. So he's not going to be the third down back. So if Breece Hall, it's interesting how they're going to do it. You know what I mean? It makes sense that, kind of Michael Carter is in there on first down for sure, especially if they're going to run it. He can't be in there on third. I don't know. It's interesting how the Jets are playing it. To be honest with you, dude, Breece Hall could have a huge impact on this game. He had a huge impact on last game.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And game 1, dude, the George fan hold is killing me inside. So
yeah.
I literally still remember it. That Breece Hall would have changed those numbers on you. He would have been the leading rusher. He would have been killing. I'm glad he got on the board last week. I'm glad Wilson got on the board last week. I'm glad Mitchell is recovering punts. Willie Parks, special teams matter. Practice squad players matter. Braden Mann, he's the guy that did it. He came back. Jeff Smith with the 4th down. I mean, all the players that we've been talking about all year, they're coming through in the clutch for us. LaMarcus Joyner, unfortunately, still not looking too great. That's pretty much the only guy I'm really worried about. CJ Uzomah with his injuries, kind of interesting. This is what everybody warned us about when we signed him.
He's always
which made
hurt.
sense. Which makes sense why we got a bunch of tight ends. I'm pissed that Rucker dropped that pass last week. He should have caught that. I really look forward to the Jets putting it together at home. I think MetLife is going to be absolutely rocking. I think for the first time in a long time, there's going to be a real, and I mean real, advantage at home. Not only are we reeling off this Browns win, and we're gonna let it all out. I feel like we finally believe in ourselves, and we know we could beat Cincinnati. And it's Nick Mangold Day. We're literally about to put Nick Mangold in the Ring of Honor. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a wild day at MetLife.
For sure. I got to ask you guys this question, though. Garrett Wilson from week 1 was in 49% of the snap count. He had a 49% snap count. You had him this past week against the Browns, 61%. Massive jump. What do you guys predict for Garrett Wilson's snap count this week?
He owned Berrios, bro. I want Berrios. Speaking of, by the way, we're trying to get more snap count. Reports from practice this week, he was talking to Boyer about kicking and punting returns.
Who?
Garrett Wilson.
This guy wants to be all over the place. Love it.
Yeah, he's really taking over Braxton Berrios' job. Poor guy, bro.
So, but you answer my question, guys. What do you expect the percentage for Garrett Wilson this week?
Same, I think 60-something%. I mean, he's the best receiver on the team. I don't see why you wouldn't. I mean, Elijah Moore and him, I think, are 1 and 1A. I think Elijah Moore is drawing the better coverage, so Garrett Wilson's open more. But
Thanks.
I think Elijah Moore, people are talking about Elijah Moore here and there. I think he's been doing fine. I think when he gets the ball, he's dynamic. He's just getting
people talking
the
negative?
best coverage. Yeah, he had an
He hasn't-
explosive second half
he
of
has-
last season, and it
Yeah.
just started slow. Not really negative, but just started slow. Expected to see more. Expected to see at least one big player flash play. Again, watch.
all those throws to him that were supposed to be were bad throws by Flacco. I could remember a couple sideline ones that were over. I could remember a couple of ones that were too short, all for Elijah Moore. They're just not communicating well. Let's just put it there. We won't put it on either one.
And also, too, there's the plays that he is making, though, are clutch plays. They're third down when we need him, toe tapping on the sideline. Like, he's quality over quantity right now, and I'm fine with that because Garrett Wilson's getting the quantity, Conklin's getting the quantity, Davis is getting the quantity, and that's fine.
Getting the fumbles.
Yeah, they have to catch the ball and they have to stop fumbling. That's my notes for those three.
So Elijah Moore, week 1 had 89% of the offensive snap count. This past week, 87.
Yeah,
and you're right, Greg. Like everyone's watching out for Elijah Moore because he can go off. He has that footwork. You have to watch out. He's got the speed, the footwork, everything. He's the whole package when it comes to being a wide receiver. I legitimately think that man can be like another Antonio Brown.
What's the percentage on Corey Davis? Because if he's
Corey Davis 2 weeks ago was 68, and this past week he was 79%.
So if that all goes away, I mean, Berrios has to get on the field at some point. But listen, the Jets have been way better with one tight end sets.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, you guys talked about that in your recap. I thought that was a great point too. I think that's just the maturity of Michael Floor and this offense is like, dude, we got Ferraris all over the place. Like, let's let them loose. Like, let's go.
That's why Garrett Wilson got more snaps. That's why he was out there, because it's like, why leave a weapon on the bench for most of the game? Look at the damage that he made. Yeah. So I expect him. I think we're going to see him get up to close to what Corey Davis is. Honestly,
yeah, they're going to both be 80, especially if Corey Davis is out.
Well, if Corey Davis is hurt, even
if Corey Davis is out, he's going to be up there. Yeah, if Corey Davis is out, he gets probably even 90, in my opinion.
I would like to see Denzel Mims though. If Corey Davis is out, I would like to see Denzel Mims play the outside. That would be fantastic. At home, it could be an unbelievable day at MetLife on Sunday. I mean, if we get out of there 2-1, just beating the Cincinnati Bengals, all this with Joe Flacco, 2-1, going into the Steelers game. MetLife is going to be going insane because listen, this would be the first quality win. We don't even have a quality win yet. If this was oh my God, what's the name of it?
Last week wasn't a quality win?
No, of course not. What's it called, Greg? The FBS when the college, the BCS. This is like the BCS where if the Jets are being talked about for a bowl game right now, we have no quality wins.
Yeah,
we need a quality win, and I would like it versus the Bengals, even though at some point. It might not be, right? If they start being bad, right? It might turn into that.
Yeah, it's like Ohio State beating Notre Dame week 1. It's like, oh, that's a great win. Now, not so much.
Exactly. So let's see. I love the Jets in this game. I'm gonna reverse tease it down to -6.5. I'm taking the over. Let's go.
John, one last thing too, while you're talking a little gambling real quick. Week 1 against the Steelers, halftime score was Pittsburgh 17. Cincinnati 6 with a last-second field goal to end the half. Last week against the Dallas Cowboys at halftime, the score was 17 Dallas 3 Cincinnati. I am hammering.
Please don't say that number. That's a scary number for me. 17.
The first half for the Jets this week. Cincinnati just has been starting out slow. We need to come out strong. We need to establish, and we need to score in the first half too. We can't match them. Last week, I think we did a great job keeping up with Cleveland. I think this week we have to set the tone against Cincinnati if we're going to win this game, because in both games so far, they've been able to stop the scoring in the second half and make adjustments for their opponents, and they've been able to score in the second half. So I think we have to be wary of that, and we have to capitalize on this first half if we got a shot at this one.
Which I do think we do. What are we going to do with Chase? We're going to move Reed on him, or we're going to have AG because he's going to run past Joyner. So what are we going to do here, guys?
Reed's been amazing. Reed's been just as good as anybody in the league right now.
Yeah.
Also, too, what I meant to clip it. His celebration. I don't know if you guys caught it. He did like a somersault, and then he was doing. I forget it now, but I remember watching the game, and being like, "That was insane! Like that was awesome." That celebration was something. So that, and of course, Garrett Wilson with the Ohio celebration. That was awesome to see in real time.
Yeah, I would put DJ Reed since he's the veteran corner. I wouldn't want I love Sauce. I think Sauce is amazing. I think he's done a great job so far. Jamar Chase is good, man. Like we're talking about, he was just in the Super Bowl. Like he's lethal.
Dude,
I'm not saying it's just different. It's just different. So I'd put a veteran corner on Jamar Chase.
I think the only thing you have to be worried about is height difference. With Jamar Chase, I think it's 6'2", 6'3". DJ Reed's a little bit smaller, but that's okay because I think DJ Reed's got that dog in him. And also, too, I mean, just so we could just wrapping up this preview, the Bengals have weapons all over the place. Just with Jamar Chase, he's amazing. Don't get me wrong. T. Higgins is a real deal receiver in this league. Tyler Boyd's a speedster we have to be worried about. And Joe Mixon's Joe Mixon. I mean, he can catch, he can run, he can do it all. Their problem is they haven't been really able to find a groove because Joe Burrow hasn't been able to find a groove. So we have to keep that going with this defense. And another thing to point out, one last thing, as I'm still recapping last game because it was so awesome. I don't know if you guys saw the play with Quan Alexander where he pushed, was it DJ Reed, over to the right side to the guy running out. It was Chubb running to the outside. Dude, Quan Alexander has been such a great impact on this team. It's amazing what a team looks like when you have linebackers. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So, the Bengals have options at wide receiver, but if DJ Reed can do something with Jamar Chase, that takes one away. That gives us opportunities against Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. And we got Sauce, man. That's the beautiful thing about where we're at right now. I think we've got two real good DBs to lock these guys down. I just hope we can do it on Sunday. I'm excited.
So before we get out of here, what do we got as the final score prediction?
Jets 23, Bengals 20.
Ooh, okay. What do you got, John?
Yeah, let's do 23-16.
Ooh, wow.
Covering that reverse teaser number. I like that. Just do a little math real quick.
Well, Chris Berman trick.
Yeah.
I'm going 24-21. Jets.
Okay, I like that.
All right. I wanna just end this pod by, if you're watching us on the YouTube and you saw me make weird reactions there while Greg was talking earlier, that was because Aaron Judge hit a 407-foot fly ball to dead center where it's 408 feet. That was literally on the wall to tie Roger Maris. And then they just walked off right now. So all is well in the world. Another day lives on in the Aaron Judge saga.
Let's go.
Beautiful.
Yankees, baby. Bronx Bombers, baby. Let's go. And on that note, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Josh Donaldson, shout out to you.
And on that note, thank you everyone for tuning in for another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, Etc. podcast. You all know what to do. If you listen to this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. We're on all audio listening platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it, we are there. If you listen to us on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to give us that 5-star rating. And if you listen to us on Apple, please make sure to leave a review or comment. We're also partnered with Minute Media and Fanside, so you can find this podcast on the Jet Press and the Daily Knicks. Now, you can also help us out by making sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel, Knicks Coming, Jets Coming, ETC, period. Find the page, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you know when a new episode drops. When you watch a video, hit the like button, leave a comment, add to the conversation. What do you guys think this score will be between the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals this week? What do you think adjustments they need to make from last week? Let us know. Leave a comment, all right? But while you're also over at that YouTube channel, make sure to check out the other podcast that's partnered with Minute Media, and that's Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg, and our guy and co-host Chip Murphy. These guys go through every sport possible. If you need to put money down on the line because you like sports betting, these guys got you covered. They've been doing a great job with college football and the NFL. I know I got to go back and listen to Greg's takes on my guy Russell Wilson. So, got to do that. Got to do that research. So. We all know how that happens and how Greg feels.
So I love Denver this week.
Oh. Tell me you guys saw the clip of him trying to get everyone to call out run or pass.
Yeah, I saw that.
Broncos country. That's right.
Let's ride.
Broncos country. That's right. But you know what?
Tough.
Jets Nation. Let's fly. Jets Nation. Let's fly.
I like that.
Call it out. Call
All
it
right.
out, boys. Call it out. Run or pass.
And last and certainly not least, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it. We are there. We'll catch you later next week for the Jets recap, rapid reaction when the Jets defeat the Cincinnati Bengals. We out.
Let's go.
Coming to you on Monday. Let's go.